WNR's best moments from November 10th to 14th. The Young and the Restless had many buzzworthy moments that got fans riled up this week. From a steamy kiss to a tense confrontation, there were many interesting scenes. Here's a look at some of the best scenes from November 10th to 14th. Key takeaways. Sally went to bat for Audra. Sharon showed she's not to be messed with. Kane and Adam traded barbs. Phyllis and Kane's friendship took an unexpected turn. Friends sticking together. Monday kicked off with Genoa City's new pals, Sally, Courtney Hope, and Audra, Zuleika Silver. Sally's attempts to help a down-on-luck Audra aren't going so well. During a meeting with Billy, Jason Thompson, Sally was informed that Jill, Jess Walton, doesn't want Abbott Communications. Sally went to bat for Audra, explaining why she'd be a good fit and that she deserves a second chance. Unfortunately, Sally's pleas fell on deaf ears, and later she had to break the bad news to Audra. However, Sally is someone who won't be deterred. She promised Audra she'd fight for her and find a way to get her on board at Abbott Communications. Sally's fierce loyalty to Audra shows why fans love their friendship. Hopefully, Sally will continue to show her support when Audra's past is finally exposed. Mama Bear. Last week, Nick Joshua Morrow had his long-awaited confrontation with Mitch/Matt Clark, Roger Howarth. This week, it was Sharon Case, turn to confront him. Fans are accustomed to seeing Sharon in tears and needing protection. However, she held her own against Matt. Sharon's strength was in full force when she approached Matt. The protective mom showed no fear towards her enemy as she warned him not to mess with her family. If Matt thought Nick was tough, that's nothing compared to what Sharon could do to him. Newman versus Ashby. Kane, Billy Flynn, and Adam, Mark Grossman, haven't had many scenes together since his return. But this week, YNR treated fans to a one-on-one scene with the two Genoa City outcasts. Kane was drowning his sorrows at society when Adam waltzed in and immediately began antagonizing the Newmans' rival. The two were soon trading barbs as Adam celebrated Kane's impending downfall. Adam's taunts did little to rile up Kane, who vowed that this would be a fresh start for him. Kane's calm demeanor certainly raised eyebrows and seemed to rattle Adam. While Adam and Victor, Eric Braden, have the upper hand, they shouldn't rule out Kane just yet. Flirty Phyllis. The show has been teasing a romance between Kane and Phyllis, Michelle Stafford, for some time. However, things are now starting to heat up between friends and business partners. Following Kane's encounter with Adam, Phyllis joined him at Society. Talk quickly turned to Kane's attempts to reunite with Lily, Crystal Khalil, but Phyllis had other ideas. The redhead began flirting with Mr. Ashby, convincing him to cut his losses and find a real woman. Kane couldn't resist the attention, and the couple's chemistry was blazing as they wooed each other. But the best part is when the two finally kissed, and needless to say, it didn't disappoint. Kane and Phyllis's lip lock is just the start of the Fane romance, which is bound to have everyone buzzing. But the icing on the cake for the scene is a jealous Lily witnessing the kiss. On the crisp Monday morning of November 10th, Genoa City awoke to hidden tensions and simmering schemes. In the gleaming offices of Newman Media, Victor Newman's voice echoed like a judge calling down the verdict. He reminded Phyllis Summers of their agreement, of the dark bargain between them. Their alliance, built on ambition and mutual distrust, felt less like cooperation and more like a ticking time bomb. Soap Hub +1. That same day, Billy Abbott and Sally Spectra clashed over the future of Abbott Communications. His cautious pragmatism met her fierce loyalty to her vision, and to Audra Charles, whom she fiercely defended as she tried to bring Audra into the fold. Soap Central +2 Soap Hub +2 Meanwhile, Audra delivered a dire warning to Holden Novak. Some secrets are too dangerous to expose. Soap Central. Yet the real earthquake came when Victor unleashed his weapon, the stolen AI software. It was not just a tool, it was a threat, repurposed against Kane Ashby's own company. Kane realized the scale of Victor's betrayal. The very thing he designed to build an empire was now being used to tear him down. Soap Central. Tuesday, November 11th, Confessions and Confrontations. By Tuesday, the stakes rose even higher. Victor softened, strangely, when he made a confession to Nikki Newman. It wasn't the vulnerable confession of a repentant man, but one of business, of power. His mind was always on legacy and control. Yenda recaps. In contrast, Sharon Newman turned sharply maternal, drawing on a fierce protectiveness she rarely embraced. Disturbed by the mystery of Matt Clark, or Mitch Bacall, as he now claimed, she resolved to take matters into her own hands. Yand R recaps. Meanwhile, Nick Newman made a shocking discovery. Sienna Bacall was not just involved in his family's chaos, her secrets ran deeper than he imagined. Yanda recaps. Wednesday, November 12th, a standoff in the shadows. Midweek, the tension exploded. Sharon and Matt/Mitch finally confronted one another. Threats flew, sharp, bitter, and laden with the weight of history. Sharon, cornered but resolute, refused to back down. Mitch, calm but dangerous, showed glimpses of the man beneath the mask. Yenda recaps. Simultaneously, Billy broke a promise to Sally, fracturing her trust once again. Yandar recaps. Their relationship teetered on an edge where love, ambition, and regret collided. But perhaps the most painful moment came when Nick exposed the truth. He told Sienna about Matt Clark, about who he really was, and what he meant to the Newman family. Yandar recaps. Thursday, November 13th, schemes deepen, hearts tremble. Thursday cracked very early as Victor and Adam Newman smelled blood in the water. They saw weakness in Billy Abbott and moved in, not just to dismantle Jabot, but to exert utter dominance. Yand R recaps. +1. At the same time, Kane found himself on the defensive, not just in business, but in his heart. The threat of AI destruction loomed. He had to protect himself, his company, and possibly his soul. Yanda recaps. Away from the corporate battlefield, love and loyalty tangled as Cricket Blair and Danny Romalotti finalized their wedding plans. It was a bright spot amid darkness, a reminder that hope still walked the halls of Genoa City. Yanda recaps. Friday, November 14th, explosive revelations. By Friday, the tension reached a boiling point. Lily Winters walked into a scene she thought she'd never witness again. Phyllis Summers and Kane Ashby locked in a heated, compromising embrace. Soap Hub +1. It wasn't just physical. It was emotional, raw, and loaded with consequences. The betrayal cut deep. Meanwhile, Noah Newman faced a reckoning. He was backed into a corner, pressured from all sides as the consequences of his decisions came crashing down. And in the quiet corners of Genoa City, Victoria Newman and Nate Hastings felt their chemistry ignite anew. Their growing connection became impossible to ignore, even as chaos swirled around them. Thematic threads. What made this week best? This week in Genoa City stood out for a few key reasons. Moments that weren't just dramatic, but deeply consequential.